MLB honoring the legacy of Jackie Robinson today, as always, on April 15th. 63rd anniversary of his historic debut. He hit 5 home runs at Wrigley Field between 1949 and 1954. Final home run at Wrigley, June 6th of 54, off Paul Minner. Every uniform member of both teams and the umpires are wearing number 42 today on Jackie Robinson Day.
Also another Cubs connection to Jackie Robinson. The ballpark that the Daytona Cubs play in down in Daytona, Florida, is known as Jackie Robinson Stadium. That was the first ballpark to have a racially integrated game.
So the Cubs will take the field behind their ace, Carlos Zambrano, who really had his good sinker working in his last start in Cincinnati.
You know, Len, it almost appeared that opening day Carlos was trying too hard to stay under control and impress everybody with the new Carlos Zambrano. His start against the Reds, however, he was charged up emotionally and physically, really had good stuff against the Reds. That explosive low to mid-90s sinker was all over the place.
So let's get into the Milwaukee Brewers Southwest starting lineup. They come in at 3-5. The Cubs are 4-4. Weeks, Edmonds, Braun at the top. Fielder, McGee, Jody Garrett getting a rare start in right in the middle. Greg Zahn on his 39th birthday yesterday got his first hit of the year. Alcides Escobar is at short, and Jeff Suppan will bat ninth.
And let's take a look at the Cubs' Jimmy John's defense today. Tyler Colvin getting the nod in left field. Marlon Byrd in center. Kosuke Fukudome red hot in right field. Ramirez, Terrio, Fontenot, Derek Lee back in the lineup after missing a game yesterday with the thumb injury. Giovanni Soto, big home run. A couple of real good at-bats late in the ball game to draw walks. He'll be behind the plate for right-hander Carlos Zambrano. More hits than we're used to seeing against Carlos Zambrano, but I think that all goes back to that first start of the year in Atlanta. Just did not have his good stuff. Much better second time around against the Reds.
California native and Arizona resident Angel Campos will call the balls and strikes. The crew chief is at first. Brian Gorman, Randazzo, and Barrett have already worked the plate in this series. And the weather, that is not a misprint, 80 degrees. The wind is howling out at 17. We hope all the flags are intact by the end of the day.
As you said earlier, Lynn, when we were sitting here in the press box before the gates were open, filling out our lineup cards, you could hear those flags on the roof of Wrigley Field just cracking in the wind.
2 hits, 2 RBIs for the Brewers leadoff man yesterday. It's number 42 to number 42, and we're underway. That's low for ball 1.
I'm betting on number 42.
The 1-0 from Z is fouled off the front foot of Weeks.
You heard Marlon Byrd earlier talking about a sweep. The thing about ball players, you never think about a sweep in game 1 or game 2 of a series, but if you've won the first 2, that's when you're allowed to say that S word.
You're really only allowed to comment on that day. That's what it's all about.
That's the only one you have any control whatsoever over. The game you're playing today.
The 28-year-old righty deals strike 2. It's even. There is a game, Bob, that is already over today. A noon Eastern start, and Cleveland just beat Texas 3-2 as left-hander David Huff went the distance on a 4-hitter. It took 2 hours and 3 minutes to complete. Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
Cleveland-Texas game is over, and so is Ricky Weeks at bat. Nasty slider that time from Zambrano. If he's got that pitch going with his sinker today, along with the split-fingered fastball, Be a rough afternoon for the Brewers here.
Shin-Soo Choo with a 3-run homer in the bottom of the 8th was a game winner for Cleveland. Edmonds with his second start of the series. So those Ranger fans here at Wrigley Field not too happy. I mean, they're happy to be here, but they're not happy their Rangers lost. See, he's laughing. I'm at Wrigley Field.
Life's good.
What more could I ask for?
Sun's shining, the beer's cold, the ball game in front of me. Life is good.
Zambrano and Edmonds had a little thing going when Edmonds was a Cardinal, but they put that in the past when Jim came here deep to right, and a leaping attempt off the glove and then the wall as Fukudome just couldn't get it, and Edmonds has a double. And Kosuke ran into the wall. Again, it's pretty barren out there before the ivy comes in. That probably didn't feel too good.
Well, a very uncharacteristic swing by Jim Edmonds. You can see Fukudome got a glove on that ball before crashing into the wall out there in right field. Just couldn't close that big outfielder's mitt around the baseball. The reason I said it was an unusual swing by Edmonds, normally he doesn't chase that pitch down and in. That pitch was actually off the plate down and in, and he was still able to square it up.
See some blood on the left elbow of Fukudome as he banged into the bricks. Now be honest with me, going back to your playing days and as a manager, were there ever days when you looked in the eyes of a starting pitcher on a day like this and you could see a little apprehension?
Oh yeah.
Like, do I really have to go out there today?
More often than you might think. You know, these guys are all great competitors, but some guys get a little rattled when the conditions are the way they are here at Wrigley today. They know they have to be on top of their game. They know they have to keep the ball down and out of the middle of the plate. And for some guys, that's almost insurmountable. Stop by Gio back there behind the dish, keeping Jim Edmonds at second base.
Kind of goes without saying that you can really compound the problem with walks. You want to stay out of the fat part of the plate, but if you start walking people, it can make it a lot worse. Outside on a slider. 2-1.
I think back to a left-handed pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals back in the 80s, Dave LaPointe. Tremendous competitor, but he was so bad here at Wrigley Field, especially when the wind blew out, that Whitey Herzog would actually rearrange the rotation so LaPointe didn't have to pitch here at Wrigley Field. Fly ball pitcher, and when that wind was blowing out, not a good matchup.
2-2 to Braun.
Well, the slider, not quite as much break on that one, stayed over the inner third of the plate, but one comes up in empty nonetheless.
Ooh, just missed. 3-2. Pitchers want to get those calls today.
Backdoor sinker starts just off of the corner, comes back to the corner. May have been just a tad low. The shoe police are going to get Ryan Braun.
Yeah, I noticed that too. More white than blue.
Well, especially with the pants tucked underneath the heel of his shoes, you don't really see any of the color.
A base hit. Edmonds will be able to score easily, and it's 1-0 Milwaukee. You might want to get settled in. Nobody's going to be out of it until it really is over, to borrow the Yogi Berra phrase.
I think both managers and both teams realize that on a day like this at Wrigley Field. You take your runs whenever and wherever you can get them. A little ground ball back up the middle of the field. Plates the first run of the game for the Brewers.
7 first-inning runs allowed by Z this season. He gave up 6 on opening day in Atlanta as Fielder looks at a strike.
Don't expect to see the Brewers run much today. They don't run much anyway, but with Carlos Zambrano on the mound, who's extremely quick to the plate, and with the wind blowing out and the thunder the Brewers have in the middle of their lineup, I just think they're going to be a station-to-station team today.
That's low. 1-2. What a great day to be here. Soto asked for time.
He's swatting flies back there behind home plate. Something must have buzzed inside his mask just as he gave the sign to Carlos Zambrano. Soto was the one that requested the time.
131. Gio. Sorry. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. 2 away.
Splitter that time. We talked about the Zambrano sinker. We've talked about the Zambrano slider. There's the splitter. He's got everything working early in this game.
Casey McGee.
And that's one thing you look for, Len, as an opposing hitter. A lot of times you'll know an opposing pitcher's repertoire, what he's likely to throw, what he's thrown in the past, and you watch what he has working early in the game. And when you see a guy out there on the mound that has all 3 of his pitches going in the first inning, you know it's going to be a battle. You like to see a guy maybe struggle with his location on his off-speed pitches, and you're more likely to get fastballs in fastball counts. If he's not spotting his fastball well, but he is throwing his breaking pitches well, then you're more likely to see breaking pitches in those counts. But when a guy's got everything working in the first inning, you know you're going to have to battle.
We're on the runner at first, the 1-0. Slider for a strike. 1-1. 2 Ks this inning for Z. And he is 31 away from 4th on the Cubs all-time list, behind Rick Russell. Should be able to get there no problem this season.
It just looks like you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt on pitches on that outer part of the plate. That one just a touch off the outside corner, but Zambrano has thrown a number of pitches out there near the outside corner and has not gotten the call.
Kick in the 2-1, a big swing, 2-2. The irony is, on a day like this, guys may tend to swing harder when really they don't have to swing as hard to hit the ball out.
And I was joking during the open that I used to swing straight up. If you try to elevate the ball, that's when you're probably not going to hit home runs. You're going to get a lot of top spin. You hit a lot of pop-ups on the infield, and I don't care how hard the wind's blowing out. If you pop it up in the infield, it's going to be an out. Take your normal swing, try to make good, solid contact. If you happen to get underneath the baseball just a little bit, you'll elevate it to the outfield, and those are the ones that have a chance to get out of here.
He wanted it. Full count, 3-2.
We saw a tight strike zone from Tony Randazzo in game 1 of this series. We saw a high strike zone from Ted Barrett in the ball game yesterday, and still trying to determine the strike zone for Angel Campos in this game today.
That's a strike. I'm sorry. Lee plays behind the runner as Braun goes on the 3-2, ball 4, low and outside. Now Z taking a little trip off the mound, and Soto comes out as Jody Garrett comes up.
I'm sure Z's upset with some of those borderline calls that did not go his way, and I also think he crossed up Giovanni Soto with that last pitch to Casey McGee. Watching as Zambrano shook off the sign for a sinker in. He shook off the sign for a sinker away. Gio hung down 3 fingers, which is a sign for a slider, and Carlos threw him a fastball. Now there's some barking going on between the third base dugout and the home plate umpire.
Lou ends the chat with a smile. Garrett fouls straight back. The Astros come in tomorrow and they have a lead 2-0 after 3 in St. Louis, looking for their first win of the year. Popped into left for Tyler Colvin, who comes in. Brewers get 1. They lead 2. The Cubs coming up against righty Jeff Suppan when we come back. Lineup written out by Luke Piniella, Terrio, Fucadome, both with a big day yesterday. Derek Lee back in the lineup. Has the thumb injury, but he's doing okay. Ramirez, Colvin in left as Lou continues his outfield rotation. Bird in center in between the lefties, Colvin and Fontenot. Soto with a very good approach yesterday, and Big Z with good numbers against Jeff Suppan. We'll show you those later.
Take a look at the Brewers defensively, brought to you by Jimmy John's. Braun, Edmonds, and Garrett across the outfield today. McGee, Escobar, Weeks infielder, same infield as yesterday. Greg Zahn behind the plate, as Len mentioned, got his first hit of the year yesterday, and he'll be catching pitches from veteran right-hander Jeff Suppan. His numbers from last season, the high opponent's batting average. Todd Hollingsworth touched on it in the pregame show. Suppan is not the kind of pitcher that can challenge the middle of the strike zone. Really needs to have his good command in order to be successful.
35 years old. Off a 7-12 campaign. It was a rough one. Every team has its lightning rod players when it comes to the blogs and such. And Jeff Suppan has kind of been that guy for Milwaukee, a high-paid starter. He's been basically a 500 pitcher throughout his career. In fact, exactly at 500 at 135 and 135. And his ERA has gone up each of the last 2 years, 5.29 last season, and he wasn't much better in spring training. Had cervical disc pain in his neck, and that's why he was on the DL to start. 3-1 the count. Ontario.
Well, talking about a pitcher in Jeff Suppan who needs to stay out of the middle of the plate, and we've seen a very tight strike zone from Angel Campos behind the plate. Patience would appear to be a key today for the Cubs hitters.
Terrio out of the deep left. Braun makes a catch as he just gets on to the warning track.
However, it's hard to be patient as a hitter on a day like this at Wrigley. You want to get up there and get your hacks in. Take your chances. Just make sure you get a pitch you can handle.
Brings up Kosuke. Sac fly in the 7th yesterday. And then the big game-winning 2-run single in the 8th. The guy we thought Ken Maka might get up to potentially face Fukudome in the 8th. He did not. Mitch Stetter, their matchup lefty, got the short straw as he was optioned to AAA to make room for Suppan. I guess the Brewers agonized over this decision. Came down to who had options and who they thought they might need to use here over the next few days. And Carlos Villanueva apparently 1 out. Suppan can't give them a lot of innings today. Probably see Villanueva. One ball and 2 strikes. And he chased a bad one and is tagged out by Zahn.
Traditional 3 spot in the lineup. I stood down by the Cubs batting cage during BP and watched Derek Lee's face to see if he was showing any sign of a grimace or any sign of pain with that right thumb. He is wearing a pad on the right thumb to protect against the vibrations off the bat, but his BP looked very good this morning.
It's an injury suffered in Atlanta last week, and he aggravated it on Monday. So off day Tuesday, and then he didn't do anything yesterday. But he's back to work, as he said. 1-1. Foul and out of play.
Well, you mentioned Derek initially hurt the thumb in Atlanta. Really became apparent on Monday. Got jammed by Doug Davis. I saw him grimace and hold that right hand up against his chest as he ran down the first baseline. And then once again later in the ball game, same thing. I'll tell you what, though, Derek Lee's presence in the dugout yesterday and his possible availability as a pinch hitter may have entered into Ken Maka's decision not to take LaTroy Hawkins out of the game in favor of a left-hander to face Fukudome. Maka probably figured that with Derek Lee sitting on the bench, he liked the matchup of Hawkins against Fukudome better than any of his lefties against Derek Lee. Also, with Suppan taking the mound today coming off the disabled list, you have to figure you're going to need to open a can of bullpen probably fairly early in the ball game. So you'll be trying to keep as many fresh arms down there as possible for today's game.
Final year of a 4-year deal Suppan signed prior to 07. Club option for next year as Derek gets it up in the air. Edmonds is going back on it. He's going to watch it go into the juniper bushes. It's a 1-1 tie on Derek's home run. It's his 165th homer as a Cub and his 100th career homer at Wrigley Field.
Cement mixer slider that stayed up and out over the plate for Derek Lee. He's got enough power. He doesn't have to pull the ball on a day like this. Anywhere he hits it with authority in the air, it's got a chance to go, and that one does go to straightaway center.
Ramirez takes a strike. So Derek has now gotten on in all 8 games. A 6-game hitting streak, and now the 10th player to hit 100 regular season home runs at Wrigley Field. 99 have been as a Cub. So he joins Sosa, Banks, Williams, Santo, Sandberg, Sauer, Hartnett, Dawson, and Wilson. And Ramirez is only 3 homers away from 100 here at Wrigley. It's a pretty good list.
Might get it today if Suppan makes some mistakes over the plate for him. Everybody's been working Aramis away in the early going, and Greg Zahn rather slides out to that corner once again. For the first batter of the game, Ryan Terry, or for the first batter for the Cubs rather, Greg Zahn was almost sitting in that left-handed batter's box trying to coax Suppan over there toward that outside corner, but as that strike zone has narrowed, he's had to sit more and more behind home plate. Hey, one thing about Jeff Suppan, throughout his career, there are no obvious fastball counts. He's liable to throw any of his pitches in any count to any hitter. There's a couple of different fastballs, a sinker, a cutter, a slow curve, a slider, a straight changeup.
Swing and a miss to end the inning. Derek Lee with a home run in his return to the lineup ties the game at 1-1. Z surname faces another Z. Zambrano against Zahn. 1 ball, no strikes on the switch hitting catcher. Got his first hit of the year after an 0 for 21 start yesterday, which was his 39th birthday. Kick and the 1-1 is low and outside. 1-1. His team with a run in the first. Base hit to center.
Check out the Menards ground crew as they manicured the mound between innings. A lot of times pitchers will have a different landing area. They'll like to throw out of different areas of that rubber, and the grounds crew came out between innings to clean it up a little bit. Pitchers hate that when the starting pitcher has a landing hole out there in the front of the mound, and they go out to take their pitches, and they land on the corner or on the edge or the beginning or the end of that landing hole from the opposing pitcher. The grounds crew came out quickly between innings and took care of business.
Ball for a strike, 0-2. cue shot, not hit hard, and Fontenot will have to get the out at first. Tomorrow, watch the Cubs take on the Houston Astros at 1:20 here at Wrigley Field. Be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 adults 21 and older will get a Cubs tumbler. Compliments of Bud Light. Jeff Suppan digging in. We also want to remind people the Cubs have the Way of Life campaign running. We would like to hear from fans who live and breathe Cubs baseball. You can visit Cubs.com and submit your short story about why Cubs baseball is a way of life. 10 finalists will be chosen to visit Wrigley and have their stories videotaped and posted on Cubs.com. And then all fans will be encouraged to vote for their favorite entry. One lucky fan will receive the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to throw out the ceremonial first pitch before a Cubs home game. And also, as a special thank you for sharing your story, if you register, you'll receive up to a 50% discount on tickets for select games in April and May. Swing and a miss. 1-2 on Suppan. And the deadline for entries Friday, April 30th at 5 p.m. Campaign the Cubs have working.
And we know for a large number of people here in Chicago that it is a way of life. Sing your stories.
Runner at second, one out. The 2-2 to Suppan, fouled back.
It's kind of telling what kind of afternoon it's going to be. Ken Maka did not ask his starting pitcher, Jeff Suppan, to put down a sac bunt, even though there's one out already in the inning. A lot of times in that situation, the manager would just let his pitcher go up there, put down a bunt, move that runner to third base, and take your chances with the top of the order coming up. But Jeff Suppan went to the plate, runner in scoring position, wind blowing out. Maka lets him swing away.
Suppan with one career home run. Foul tip strikeout.
A few more pitches than he wanted to throw to get Suppan out, but ultimately he does strike him out. Good fastball right down the middle of the plate.
Ricky Weeks for the second time. Pulled a slider outside. Pitching matchups for the weekend. Cubs will face Roy Oswalt. That'll be on Saturday. Felipe Paulino and Carlos Silva tomorrow. Oswalt and Tom Gorzolani on Saturday. Both games here on Comcast Sportsnet. And then on Sunday, lefty Wandy Rodriguez and right-hander Ryan Dempster. Oswalt and Rodriguez are a combined 0-4, although Oswalt has pitched better than his record indicates. Rodriguez has struggled. If they don't win today and they are up 2-0 in the bottom of the fourth, they would tie the franchise his worst start, 0-9 in 1983. They're the only team without a win this season. Ball four.
Yeah, Lou Piniella was asked in his pregame press conference about that very fact. Would he like to see Houston win a ball game before they get here to town? And he said, yeah, they're playing the Cardinals.
So Z has walked 2. McGee in the first, and Weeks here in the second, both coming with 2 outs. I was reading Jim Edmonds, who thought about coming back, and I think it was a Cardinal dinner. He was with Tony La Russa, and he basically announced he was coming back. And I think his first thought was, since he lives in St. Louis, to come back with the Cardinals, but they were up front with him. They didn't have a lot of playing time for him. And he worked out with Albert Pujols, who really encouraged him to come back. We ran into Jim. He came up to say hi to us in the broadcast booth last year. He was with his kids. And at the time, Bob, I think we both thought he was retired for good. But he had a very good spring, and here he is.
And the fire is still burning. It's tough to take that uniform off, and he can still go get him in the outfield with anybody. The big question was, did he have the bat speed? Would he be able to provide enough offensive punch to carry him on a roster just for his defense? Well, he more than did that in spring training.
Slow roller to Derek. Zambrano covering, and the Brewers span 2. They've left 4 early on. It's 1-1. Game of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Tune in to Comcast Sportsnet at 7 for exclusive coverage and expert analysis on Chevy Blackhawks pregame live. Hawks and Preds game 1 tomorrow night at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. You might run into a Chicago Cub at the game tomorrow night. Whole team is basically going. Ryan Dempster, a huge hockey fan, has been coordinating. Lou said today before the game he's going to be there tomorrow night cheering on the Hawks.
Ryan Theriot was encouraging all his teammates to wear their Blackhawks gear to the game. Should be interesting.
Tyler Colvin takes it inside. Ball 1. Gets the start in left. Lou encouraged the media to or discouraged the media from reading anything into Colvin playing left today for Soriano, who has continued to struggle defensively. Marlon Byrd's going to get a day off tomorrow. As Lou is trying to rotate 5 outfielders. The 1-1 to Colvin is a strike on the inside corner, 1-2. A long trip for the Brewers, the first of 3 series in 3 cities, 9 games, 11 days. They'll go to Washington, D.C. tomorrow, for the weekend, and then they'll face the Pirates next week before returning home to take on the Cubs. Three and two on Colvin. Colvin, a big part of that 8th inning rally, as he took a walk along with Giovanni Soto, all coming with 2 outs, setting it up for Terrio and Fukudome. Jeff Baker started the rally with a 2-out single.
On a guy that is similar to Greg Maddux, probably only in one aspect, and that's the fact he likes to throw the straight changeup on full count situations.
It's drilled out into left center field, and it's going to bang the bottom of the wall. Edmonds plays the carom very well, and the throw just a little late as Colvin has a double.
That did appear to be a changeup up and out over the plate. Tyler Colvin, throughout most of spring training down in Arizona, was pulling a lot of balls to right center and right field, but this time stays right on it, drives it toward that gap in left center field. Good start to the inning.
Marlon Byrd, we heard from him on pregame line, talking about the good start to this homestand. Cubs are trying to get over 500 today for the first time.
Looked like a cross-up. Just an odd reaction by the catcher Zahn behind home plate. When you see the catcher catch the ball awkwardly and then immediately go to the mound to talk to his pitcher, he probably got crossed up. Colvin on at second base, the first Cubs base runner at second in the game. Just didn't look comfortable back there, sitting low and away, probably expecting a breaking ball. He got something way up high.
Bird in the air, Edmonds with a bead on it as Colvin tags and heads to third.
Productive out that time by Marlon Byrd, and great base running by Tyler Colvin. He did not hesitate. He saw that ball in the air. He realized it was going to stay in the ballpark. And with Jim Edmonds' range in center field, he was probably going to make the catch, so he immediately went back and tagged and easily advanced on to third base with 1 out here in the inning.
They're going to bring their infield in. Are you surprised on a day like this? Assuming we'll probably see a lot of offense, we're going to guard against that go-ahead run in the second inning.
Nothing surprises me.
Weeks knocks it down. Colvin waiting, and the throw's high. They still barely got Fontenot. A discombobulated play at the end as Brewers were kind of had one eye on Colvin, the other eye on the batter.
Mike Fondo gets some hustle points for this. A ground ball right to Weeks at second base. He doesn't assume anything. He's running hard down that first baseline, and that throw very nearly pulled Prince Fielder off the bag. Prince Fielder's a big man. He's not a tall man, but barely able to keep that right toe on the corner of the base as he stretched for that high throw.
So it's up to Soto. Suppan could work around Gio at a really good day yesterday, but Suppan has been bitten in the past by Carlos Zambrano. He had very good numbers against him. So even with first base open, he'll probably go right at it. And he's going to pay for it. Is it high enough for Soto? Off the middle of the wall. Going to have to hurry. And he is out by a mile. He'll get an RBI single out of it. Zambrano very upset. He wanted an at-bat here, but the Cubs take the lead 2-1.
In May games. Bleacher seats are still available as well. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com, call 1-800-THE-CUBS, or visit the Wrigley Field box office.
Giovanni Soto with a go-ahead RBI single. It's 2-1 as we get into the third. I think Z wanted an at-bat.
You think?
A little frustrated that we'll have to lead off the bottom of the third. But first things first, Ryan Braun, ball one. Slider is low, 2-0. Minnesota blowing out the Red Sox 6-0 at Target Field. And Francisco Liriano, 7 shutout innings so far for the lefty. Tim Wakefield gave up 6 runs, 5 earned, and 5 1/3. Ball 4, a leadoff walk to Braun. That's a walk per inning for Z. So far it hasn't hurt him. We're in the home stretch for the 2010 census. It's not too late. Fill out and mail back your census form today. Shift against Fielder, in on the hands and fouled back. Now we talk about these shifts all the time. How much pressure does that put on the pitcher to pitch to the shift?
Well, you just have to realize where your defenders are positioned and pitch accordingly. Not that you want to throw Prince Fielder's stuff from the middle of the plate in and let him pull the ball, but by the same token, if you're pounding away with sinkers on that outside corner, there's a better probability that Fielder might hit the ball the other way. He doesn't want to hit the ball the other way, but he might. Good changeup this time from Zambrano. Look at the late movement on that ball. Powerful swing by Prince Fielder. As always, he never cuts down.
Outside. There was a year, it was maybe 2 years ago. Remember when Fielder came to Wrigley Field late in April going into May, and he still didn't have a home run? But he's a guy who can get really hot at any moment. Kind of come to expect 45 to 50 from this guy.
Well, he's so big and strong and takes such a vicious cut. He can miss-hit a ball and still get it out of the ballpark.
Strikes out for the second time today. 4 for Carlos.
A great movement on that straight changeup. A couple of good ones in that sequence by Zambrano, fading down and away from the left-handed hitter. Well, I think both those changeups that he used in that sequence were set up by the first fastball that Fielder couldn't get around on and fouled down the third baseline. Show him your best fastball early and then don't show it to him again the rest of the at-bat.
Outside corner on McGee.
Z's looking for that right rhythm out there on the mound. We know that occasionally he can get a little too quick between pitches, hurrying too much to throw that next pitch to home plate. He doesn't like to take a lot of time between pitches under any circumstances, but sometimes he needs to slow himself down just a little bit.
Very rare you get a day in April where it's warm in the shade like it is today. And it's hot. Had days recently where it's very comfortable in the sun, maybe a sweatshirt in the shade, but not today. Runner was going as it's hit foul by McGee.
Casey McGee is somewhat of a rare guy, a middle of the lineup run producing hitter who the manager will use to play hit and run because he has such good bat control. He can hit that ball to the right side of the field. That was a hit and run attempt that time by the Brewers.
It's out of the glove of Soto. Braun will get second. And it's 3-2 on McGee. Wild pitch charged to Carlos.
Wild pitch isn't always in the dirt. That time a fastball that got away from him up and into Casey McGee. Soto had set up outside a little bit, had to reach all the way back across the plate to try to make the catch. So it's ruled a wild pitch on the part of Zambrano.
Too early to be dissecting the standings, but going into action today, the Cardinals leading this division at 6-2. Cubs just 2 games off the pace. Houston already 6 out with their 0-8 start. To right, sending Fukudome back. Warning track gone. About the second row in the family section out there for Casey McGee as he goes oppo. And the Brewers grab a 3-2 lead. That's his 3rd homer of the season, his first since the game-ending shot Sunday night versus St. Louis.
Picked up over the heart of the plate about belt high. McGee got the barrel of the bat on it. Got the ball up in the air. He hit that same ball yesterday with the wind blowing from right to left, and it's a routine fly ball to right field, but today it gets way up into the bleachers.
Each team with a home run. Derek Lee in the first and McGee here in the third. Best record in baseball early on. The 2-time defending NL champion Phillies at 7-1. They've won 5 in a row into their game against Washington. Scott Olson and Jay Happ, a battle of lefties in Philadelphia. Giants off to a good start. I know you've had your eye on them for a while. 7-2 out west.
The big question with the Giants this year was, would they be able to hit? Going into play today, they had the 3rd best batting average in the National League at .297. We knew they could pitch. The Renteria off to a red hot start this year.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. As they complete the out. Jorge Cantu is the first player since the RBI became an official stat in 1920 to have a hit and an RBI in his team's first 9 games.
That's a good start.
If that continues all year, I think he'll win the MVP. But it probably won't. Greg Zahn all of a sudden is hot. He is 3 for his last 3 after starting 0 for 21. This is a game of cycles.
Now, sometimes it's a physical, mechanical change that you make at the plate. Other times it's more of a mental change in your approach at the plate. But for whatever reason, after going hitless to start the year, Zahn 3 for his last 3. More often than not, it's between the ears. When you get to this level, physically and mechanically, you're pretty well set.
Terrio booted it. Everybody safe. Got caught in between on a softly hit liner by Escobar. He didn't catch it, and he didn't really play it on the short hop, kind of in between both.
It's always easy to say after the play, but it looked like Terrio may have had enough time to back up a step, field that ball, and throw on to Fontenot for the force at second. Greg Zahn does not run that well. However, Escobar, the hitter, does run well, so Ryan tried to charge that ball. Got a tough short hop. That'll go as an E6.
He gets another chance, though. Fontenot covering, and that's the inning. McGee on a 3-2 pitch with an opposite field homer, and Milwaukee now leads 3-2. This Sunday at Wrigley Field. Game time 1:20, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Cubs winner scarf. Compliments of Pepsi. I hope it's not going to be necessary for the rest of the regular season, but we're in Chicago, so there'll probably be a day coming up.
A day or a week. 20.
Called strike on Zambrano. Use the term seesaw affair on a lot of occasions. Just curious, can you remember the last time you were on an actual seesaw? Has it been a while?
Yeah, it's been a long while.
I'm a fan of the seesaw as Weeks throws out Zambrano.
Well, if you've missed some of the seesaw action after the game, go to Comcast On Demand for access to Comcast Sportsnet games ready to watch on your schedule. Don't have Comcast On Demand? Call 1-888-4BEST-TV today.
I think next time you are in a park, you have to be with somebody else. I think you should try it out again.
I don't even remember the last time I saw a seesaw.
I would assume most parks still have them, don't they? They have swings. They should have a seesaw.
Well, some of the things we used to play on as children have been deemed dangerous.
Too dangerous?
For the youth of today. Yeah.
On the lookout for it. Maybe tonight. Great night to get out to one of the parks in the Chicago area. I'll report back tomorrow.
All right. Give me a scouting report on the seesaws.
Garrett setting and catching. 2 up, 2 down. If it's this warm here near the lake, I wonder what it must be like in the western suburbs today.
Yeah, their fans out, the AC kicked on.
Yep.
But I think nature's version of air conditioning may kick in over the weekend, so a lot of people probably didn't turn the AC on.
It will cool off a bit, according to the forecast, but as long as we're dry, we're good. One strike on Kosuke, who fanned his first time up. A little bit too much for me. You don't like bare feet, you should generally wear a shirt when you come to the park.
Casual attire is good enough. That's a little too casual.
Two and two on Fukudome.
Mentioned earlier, I was around the batting cage to watch Derek Lee hit today. Kosuke Fukudome in the same group with Derek Lee. He uses a monster bat during batting practice. It's an inch longer and about 5 ounces heavier than the bat that he uses during the course of a ball game. It's kind of that overload training. You get used to swinging the longer, heavier bat, and when you get out there in game action against live pitching and go back to your regular bat, it feels very light. You feel like you have much better bat control.
Swing and a miss to end the inning. A 1-2-3 for Soup on a shutdown inning after the Brewers grabbed the lead. From Taco Bell, open 1 a.m. or later.
I'll tell you, Lynn, very, very important for Carlos Zambrano to have an economical inning here pitch-wise. He's up to 76 pitches through 3 innings already.
This is the top of the Brewer order. Weeks has struck out and walked. 3-2 Brewers. Were in the fourth. For Weeks, it's Jim Edmonds and then Ryan Braun. If anybody reaches, Prince Fielder will get his third at bat. He has already struck out twice. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Time for our AT&T trivia question. Which controversial, groundbreaking book chronicled the first year in Brewers franchise history? We will give you a hint if you were watching us yesterday. We talked a lot about that this is the 40th anniversary season of the Brewers in Milwaukee, but they actually began play as the Seattle Pilots in 1969. And if you have not read the book that we are talking about, and you are a baseball fan, we will suggest you go out and buy it.
Or go to the library and check it out for free.
Oh, yes. I guess unless you are mentioned in that book in a not so favorable light, you might not want to read it. But we'll get into more of that later. 2-1 on Edmonds.
Nice backdoor slider right there.
Cubs chairman Tom Ricketts enjoying this weather. Does he have like a credential on? I don't know if he needs it, but he does. It's nice to know. Not assuming that every usher and security person is going to recognize his face, but it would be nice to drop in. Yeah, I own this. But he wouldn't do that. No. Edmonds with a base hit.
You work for me.
I love the story he told us in spring training about the person who had a camera and was staring at him. He assumed that the fan wanted a picture with him. And so he said, "Can I help you?" And the person said, "Yeah, can you take a picture of me and my husband?" It's good stuff.
Yeah, it can be a very humbling experience at times. Some of the fan mail I used to get when I played for the San Francisco Giants. Dear Mr. Brennan, you're my favorite player. I think you're the best catcher in baseball. Can you get me Will Clark's autograph?
To Braun. I've asked this before, but if you had the choice, regardless of position, just starting a lineup, and I gave you can have Ryan Braun or Prince Fielder. Which guy would you take?
I think each guy has his strengths and some minor weaknesses. I think Fielder's a better defender at his position than Braun is in left field. I think Braun is a guy who runs better and will steal more bases and perhaps create more run opportunities with his legs. But there's just something about that big left-handed thumper in the middle of the lineup, an intimidating presence to the opposing pitcher and the opposing team and the opposing manager.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I don't think you could go wrong either way. Their on-base plus slugging in their career very similar. Fielder's, let's see, about 6 months younger. That's really a wash. That gets away from Lee, and Carlos with his third throwing error already in just his third start, assuming the error is on him. And it is.
Man, that's really an unnecessary snap throw over there to first base. Jim Edmonds isn't going anywhere. Falls under the category of trying to do a little bit too much.
A lot of strikeouts, 7 of them. Several walks. And a lot of deep counts for Z.
And has not gotten the benefit of the doubt on a number of borderline pitches. Of course, neither has Jeff Suppan. The strike zone has been consistently tight.
And a base hit for Fielder. Right through that shift as Edmonds will score, and that error really comes back to haunt Zambrano. It's 4-2 Milwaukee, third RBI of the year for Fielder on a 2-out RBI single.
It's down and out over the plate. Fielder reaches all the way across and hooks that ball back through the shift on the right side. Yeah, that error looms large here in this inning. That was just a completely and totally unnecessary pickoff attempt on a guy who had no intention of attempting to steal the base or even work for a big lead.
At the moment, that run is unearned, but that could change. McGee gave them a 3-2 lead with a homer in the last inning. He already has more homers than Braun and Fielder combined, although that won't continue for long.
He's kind of hiding in the weeds down there in that 5 spot in the lineup. Anytime you face the Milwaukee Brewers, you're going to talk about Braun and Fielder. How do you go about getting those guys out? And sometimes I think opposing teams overlook Casey McGee, but you're right. If he continues at this pace, that's not going to happen all year long.
Just to let you know that Casey has arrived, I have not heard anybody, announcer or otherwise, mispronounce his last name this season. So that's when you've really made it. Not McGee or McGeehee or McGahee. It's McGee. He pops it up behind second. Terrio makes a catch, and that ends the inning. And it is an unearned run to make it 4-2 Milwaukee. Breaking book chronicled the first year in Brewers franchise history. Book about, in some ways, the '69 Seattle Pilots, but it was about a lot more than that. Jim Bouton and Ball 4, and it was groundbreaking because it was the first inside look at a major league and really a pro sports clubhouse or locker room, and it upset a lot of people inside the game.
A lot of people felt it violated the code of privacy inside that clubhouse. A lot of guys' lives were affected directly and indirectly by some of the things that Mr. Bouton wrote in that book. But like you said, if you weren't one of the guys that was named in the book, it's very entertaining. It gives you a glimpse of what goes on. And manager Joe Schultz, I used a lot of the same terminology that Joe used when he was managing the Pilots and my managerial days with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Read the book.
Yeah, you'll have to read the book. The commissioner, Bowie Kuhn, called the book detrimental to baseball. But Jim Bouton stood by everything he wrote. Inside on Lee. 4-2 Brewers. Bouton did, by the way, finish that year with Houston and spent most of the season in Seattle.
Now, Jim Bouton was a fan of transparency before it became a trendy term.
And I would also say this, as Garrett will make the catch, if you read it now, while I do think you'll find it interesting, it may pale in comparison to all the stuff you see on Deadspin and YouTube and everywhere else.
It's a different time in our society.
Here's Ramirez with one out. It's been a struggle for Aramis. Does have a homer in the series, but he's 1 for 9. He's into this at bat, hitting 125 in the early going.
We think back to Mesa and the Cactus League play, and Aramis really was very limited in what he could do down in Arizona to prepare for this season. He had that triceps injury, and playing time was interrupted in the middle of camp. Never really got into that good rhythm that players like to get into coming out of spring training.
It's early, but Suppan has outpitched Carlos Zambrano so far. Thrown about half as many pitches, and right now has a 4-2 lead. Here it is. Full count, 3-2 with Colvin on deck. And he struck him out. Fastball at 89. Inner part of the plate.
Hey kids, have you ever dreamt of running the bases at Wrigley Field? Well, now you can. The Chicago Cubs are proud to present Family Sundays at the friendly confines this spring. Purchase 4 tickets to any Sunday home game in April or May, and each child 15 and younger in your group will get a chance to run the bases following that day's game. Tickets are limited, so visit Cubs.com to order today.
Colvin has doubled and scored. Second start in left. He's also made a start in center. Tyler on the radio the other day talking about all the weight he gained in the offseason. He said he had to eat 4 meals a day.
Darn.
Got sick of eating. It's the Taco Bell fourth inning, so I guess it's appropriate to mention that. Have you ever gotten sick of eating?
Not yet. I keep trying.
He's 2 for 2. Garrett with a nice sliding play.
The thing we've noticed about Colvin in spring training and in this ball game today, he may take the occasional odd swing at a bad pitch out of the strike zone, but when he gets a ball in the strike zone, he usually strikes it right on the barrel of the bat. He's hit 2 balls right on the button today. Colvin has base stealing speed over there at first. We'll see how adventurous Lou Piniella wants to be here today. He was talking about his team and the stolen bases in the early going this year, and only Lou can say it. Hey, look, certain teams, certain pitchers, certain catchers we can run against, we'll be aggressive. Other guys will play station to station.
Done a good job early on. There's 7 out of 8. Kick and the 1-0 to Marlon Byrd. 2-0. Happy birthday wishes go out to Rod Ergenbright from Newton, Iowa. That's a hometown of Cubs strength and conditioning coach Tim Buss. Be 34th to Rod.
Also, happy birthday to Bill Pettis from Racine, Wisconsin. Have a Kringle for me. 8th birthday wishes to Rachel Lawson.
Bunch of kids out here today. Cubs donated over 1,000 tickets to various schools and organizations, including Blaine Elementary School, St. Luke's School, Counseling Center of Lakeview, and the Lincoln Park Community Shelter. Marlon Byrd, the green light on 3-0. He launches it out almost into that second level in the bleachers to tie it at 4-4. That's where Sammy used to hit him.
Asked Marlon Byrd before the ball game, are you making some new friends out there in the bleachers? He says, yeah, I love it out there. Well, he's going to make a few more friends after that tape measure blast.
His 3rd homer, and it's tied 4-4. Again, all this happening after 2 were out. Cubs today have all their runs again with 2 outs.
And I always love to look down below us to the scouts section behind home plate when a guy swings away on a 3-0 pitch and does big damage the way Marlon Byrd does. They all had their heads down making notes on their scorecards. Marlon Byrd green lighted 3-0. 2-run bomb to straightaway center. It's one of the things the teams go over in their advance meetings. Who on the opposing team will swing 3-0.
Fontenot in the left center. It bounces in front of Braun. And the inning is still alive for Soto.
Mike Fontenot has found a nice inside out swing, producing some soft line drives down the left field line, that time toward the gap in left center. On occasion, he can get a little bit pull happy up there at the plate, but he's had a real nice swing working right there. Keeps his head down, drives that ball the opposite way. You do that often enough, you'll get some pitches on the inside part of the plate that you can pull. Got a note here asking us to wish a happy 4th wedding anniversary to Jessica White. Doesn't mention her husband's name, so Jessica and Mr. White have a happy 4th wedding anniversary.
Bird's goal is to, at some point this season, cross home plate before the home run actually lands.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Set up the scenario. Todd Coffey warming in the bullpen for the Brewers as Marlon Byrd hits a high home run to center field, sprints around the bases. Maka calls for the reliever. Todd Coffey sprints in from the bullpen. Does Marlon get to home before Coffey can get to the mound?
On Soto.
On a day like this, anybody with home run power in the lineup is probably going to get the green light 3-0. Of course, if you end up chasing a bad pitch and making an easy out on the 3-0 pitch, chances are the next time you get that 3-0 count, the skipper's going to make you take one.
For ball 4. So they discuss how to get Carlos Zambrano. They got him to ground out in the 3rd inning.
A lot of off-speed pitches to the Cubs pitcher in that at bat. Change-ups away, slow curveballs. With the change-up here on this sequence for strike 1 on the inside part of the plate.
One and one. Mets 1, Rockies nothing. They're in the 3rd at Coors Field. Mike Pelfrey and Jorge De La Rosa matching up. That's 2-6. The Rockies are 5-3. Bleachers are jam-packed. Standing room only, it looks like, out there. Weeks moving to his right, and he flips to Escobar, and that ends the inning. Marlon Byrd on a 3-0 pitch. Hit it out to Sammy.
Sometimes the best defense you can have is just don't let him hit it. 7 strikeouts in the ball game for Carlos Zambrano. At times has had all 3 of his plus pitches working well. A lot of swings and misses from the Brewers so far in the ball game today.
So he begins the 5th, the new ball game 4-4. And what will probably be his last inning of work. This will be his 97th pitch. A strike on the outside corner to Jody Garrett. Sharply hit on the ground, but Derek Lee, the 3-time Gold Glover, will take it by himself. It is a Subway 5th inning. Text footlong to 53695. If you are the 500th texter, you could win 5 $5 footlong subs from Subway. He's on with 2 hits in a very similar area, just to the right of center. He's on from Glendale, California, not too far from Dodger Stadium. Pulled down the right field line to the seats, out of play. I've seen George Kataris appear in this series, but he's the backup to Greg Zahn.
Greg Zahn really is the definition of a veteran backstop. And when you've been around the game as long as Greg Zahn has, you've pretty much seen just about every style of pitching with different movement, different styles of getting opposing hitters out. And you can lean on that experience when you have a pitcher on your staff. Okay, this guy reminds me a little bit of player A that I caught, back in my first year in the big leagues. How did he go about getting people out? And it helps nurse your pitchers through some tough times.
Was drafted 21 years ago in the '89 draft, 17th rounder of the Orioles. What happened there?
It's kind of a jump swing. Both feet were off the ground when he made contact. Very odd looking swing that time. And then he went to the ground, almost did the splits. Talk about protecting the plate. Giving your body up to protect the plate.
Right field corner. This is major trouble. Kosuke just didn't reach up. I think the ball may have gotten past him before he went after it. That was odd looking. I think it was hit a lot harder than he thought.
It almost looked like Kosuke may have lost that ball at some point. He was into a position to make a play and just kind of ran past it. The ball looked like it was within his reach. Get another look here. He just kind of gave up on it, turned toward the wall to play the carom, and get it back in quickly to hold Zahn to a double. Odd looking at bat that time by Zahn,
who is now 4 for his last 4 going back to yesterday. And with that, Sean Marshall is playing catch in the bullpen. 1-0 on the shortstop Escobar. 0 for 2, but he got on via the Terrio error in the third. Z has a sign from Soto. Here's a pitch. Drifted inside.
And Sean Marshall getting ready in a hurry down in the Cubs bullpen. Sometimes you'll get a pitcher up and he'll throw at a leisurely pace, knowing that he's got a little bit of time before he's going to enter the ball game. But Sean Marshall apparently got directions to get ready quickly.
It's a souvenir. 2-2 on Escobar. Suppan is on deck. No action in the Brewer pen. Saw a couple of guys stretching out between innings. Dips too low and it's full.
You know, Len, not that I'm paranoid or anything, but Rick Zahn has been on at second base 3 times in this ball game, peering in at the signs of Giovanni Soto.
Fly ball deep to left. Colvin goes back on it, and he gets to it on the warning track to retire Escobar and get the second out.
It's a very minor thing to do, to change up your signs. Use different sequences, maybe use the scoreboard. How many outs? Nobody out, use first sign. 1 out, use second sign. 2 outs, use third sign. There's a lot of different ways you can go about disguising your signs. Oh, this doesn't look good.
Mark O'Neill, the Cubs head athletic trainer, is coming out with Lou Piniella. That was quick. Mark got the answer he was looking for, I guess. I didn't see anything, did you?
Nothing apparent or obvious out there on the mound. Occasionally Carlos will have trouble with cramping in that right forearm, but didn't see any of the telltale signs that we've seen in the past when that's been an issue. Just getting back to that sign stealing, I'm always wary when it's the opposing catcher that's on at second base, because he's very aware of the sequence of signs and what certain things mean when a catcher hangs down those fingers.
Z grinding to get through 5 today. This game tied. And here comes Lou. Z did react that time, and Lou came out, and Z saying, "I'm fine." Lou put his hands up as if to say, something's not right. I don't know if it was his right hand, but he did react after that last pitch. And here comes Mark O'Neill again. We didn't see anything, even on the replay that we looked at in our production truck, after the pitch that sent them out there the first time, but he did react in a funny way this time.
Just judging from Lou's reaction when he came out of that dugout, if Carlos was facing anybody other than the opposing pitcher, I think we might see a change right here.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah, that's the cramping of the forearm that he's had in the past. talked about it at length. An unusually hot day here at Wrigley in April. Carlos expending a lot of energy, throwing a lot of pitches in this ball game.
Did it again there.
Well, like I said, if it was Ricky Weeks or Jim Edmonds or Ryan Braun at the plate, I don't think Lou would take any chances. But because it's Jeff Suppan, he's going to give him an opportunity to get out of this inning. Of course, even with a tied score right now, if Carlos came out of this ball game at this point, the only thing he could get would be a loss or a no decision.
A wild pitch gets on to third.
Now watch the right hand. You'll see it's not the prettiest thing in the world to look at, but his fingers will bend in a very awkward position after delivering the ball to home plate. This was on the previous pitch. You see how his hand kind of turns into a claw. He immediately sticks it in his glove to straighten it out, stretch it out, get rid of that cramp.
Ground ball to Fontenot. And that'll be it for Zambrano today. The pitch count will get him as much as the cramping. It's 4-4. Top of the order will come up. Getting hydrated. Ed Halber, assistant athletic trainer. Cubs will go into the bullpen in the sixth. Terrio takes a strike. He is 0 for 2 today. It had been hot, though. Had 4 hits yesterday, 4 steals in the series, and has a 5-game hitting streak. 0-2. Mario steps out as Suppan and Zahn try to get on the same page. Pitch. Bounding ball, bringing in Weeks, who plays a short hop.
Experience Cubs baseball from the private comfort of the Bud Light Batter's Eye, located in center field, offering a spectacular view. You would have a great view of Marlon Byrd's home run going right over your head. And catered service for groups of 75 to 100. The Bud Light Batter's Eye is a great option for entertaining in Chicago's unpredictable spring weather. The Bud Light Batter's Eye is also available for non-game day functions. To book your date or for more information, visit www.cubs.com/suites or call 773-404-4200.
Escobar backing up, and fielder just kept his toe on the bag to get Fukudome.
Throw to the outfield side of the bag over there at first base. Prince Fielder's been busy over there at first today. Called it right, man. Able to keep that toe on the very outfield corner of that base, stretch out there and get the out.
Lee has homered and flied out. Sean Marshall will be the next Cubs pitcher, as he's getting loose yet again in the bullpen and appears to be ready. A homer for Derek off Suppan, his 6th career homer. Came in at 431 versus Suppan.
Pretty much a straightaway center field back in the first inning. Cut fastball up and out over the plate. Derek stayed right on it. Both home runs by the Cubs today coming to straightaway center field.
The 2-2 pitch, low and outside on a slider. It's full with Ramirez waiting on deck.
It's kind of interesting. Then Zahn started the game moving way off of the corners for Jeff Suppan. He was having trouble hitting his spots, so he moved back behind home plate. Now as the game has progressed, he's moving further and further out on the corners, especially against those guys that can beat you with one swing of the bat.
Edmonds goes back yet again. On the warning track, he's going to get it this time, as Derek just missed it, shaking his head as he just missed a bid to give the Cubs a lead. Soccer is on Comcast Sportsnet as the Chicago Fire take on the DC United. Don't miss a minute of the action live from Washington's RFK Stadium. Your Chicago Fire take on DC United Saturday night at 6:30 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. National Hide and Seek Championships to follow at RFK Stadium. That was my long-running joke. That was cavernous place, and it was always a circuitous route to wherever you wanted to get to at RFK.
That's back when concrete was cheap. They had ramps going nowhere. Walk up to the top of the ramp and it would just dead end. Turn around and go back down, go up another ramp.
Sean Marshall with a 1-0 to Ricky Weeks. It is a strike, 1-1. Has been the Cubs' most valuable pitcher in the early going. This is his 5th appearance in relief. 1 hit over 5 innings.
I think part of the reason Sean has been so good early this year, he's had great command of his breaking pitches. That big over-the-top curveball, short, sharp slider. He's really been able to command both of those pitches well. Big curve right here.
No walks, 9 strikeouts in those 5 innings. High fastball, and Weeks able to fight it off. Anytime you see the catcher do what Soto did, basically 100% chance it's a fastball. It's the last place you want to put a changeup or a breaking ball. Give the guy time to swing at it.
Perfect form on that block that time by Giovanni Soto. When you're catching a breaking ball pitcher like Sean Marshall and you call for that big curveball, it's always in the back of your mind. I might have to block this pitch, and this is absolutely textbook form. Block the 5-hole between the legs, drop down to the knees, hunch the shoulders, keep your chin on your chest, make sure that ball drops right in front.
The Astros are on the board. Brad Mills with his first win as their manager. They beat the Cardinals 5-1.
Hopefully they'll get to Chicago in a couple hours and go out and celebrate. Blow off a little steam. Not hard to do in this town.
A full count, 3-2. Jim Edmonds is on deck, so it looks like he'll bat. And it won't be Corey Hart or Carlos Gomez from the right side. Fontenot racing over, makes a catch. Derek Lee ended up tripping as there was just a minor collision, but Fontenot caught it in foul ground. Usually the taller guy makes the catch, but not that time.
Just a little deeper than Derek Lee could handle right there. He may have been able to make that catch if Fontenot would have gotten out of his way, and you hope everybody's okay over there. Just the slightest of contact, but Derek goes down awkwardly on that left leg. Fontenot able to hang on for the out. Ball hit right in the heel of Mike Fontenot's glove and somehow stayed in. One of the stiffer areas of a player's glove is that heel area down around the palm of the hand, but that time it stayed in the glove.
Jim has scored twice today. After he doubled in the first, Braun knocked him in. And then after a single in the fourth, Prince Fielder drove him home. Marshall again, just off the outside. Stingy strike zone all day from Angel Campos. 1-2.
Boy, I guarantee you, this is not a comfortable at bat for Jim Edmonds. He hangs in there as best he can against left-handed pitching, but he hasn't looked real comfortable throughout this at bat.
Didn't look comfortable on that swing, but he just flicked it out in the left for his third hit.
He may not have been comfortable, but he gets a great result. Just kind of stuck the bat out there, used his hands to flip that ball off the very end of the bat into shallow left field for a base hit.
Ramirez can't get it. Edmonds stops at second.
The Chicago Blackhawks have a way for you to catch the exciting playoff action live. Text playoffs to BHawks. That's 242957 to join Blackhawks Mobile and be entered to win a pair of tickets to an upcoming Blackhawks home playoff game. That's playoffs to 242957 for your chance to win the hottest ticket in town.
Two on, one out. Ramirez has to play over near third because there's a force at that base.
Well, I'll see. You can't stray too far over there to that shortstop position. Even Jim Edmonds might attempt to steal third base if you give him too much room.
Lefty Chris Narveson, the guy we just saw in the Milwaukee pen. Everybody wearing the same uniform number. Jackie Robinson Day.
Oh, I love the idea of everybody wearing number 42 to honor Jackie Robinson on April 15th every year. But they could put the names above the number 42. That would help the broadcasters.
1-2 to Fielder.
Good breaking ball once again from Sean Marshall. Starts it right at the right shoulder of Prince Fielder. Drops it over that inside corner for a called strike.
Well, Fielder didn't sell it. It looked like it almost caught part of his jersey. I don't think he wants to walk, though.
Oh, he never wants to walk. Tries to hang in there as long as he can on that slow curveball. Eventually turns away. That right arm was very close, however, to that curveball that just never really took a good break.
3-2. Let's see what the Brewers decide to do. He is a strikeout candidate. And Gio would have a pretty easy throw to third because Fielder's a left-handed hitter. They are not running, and he just got a piece of it on an enormous swing.
You know, we talked about it throughout this series. He never cuts down. Not first pitch of the at-bat, not with 2 strikes. He's looking to generate some serious power, and if you're worried about Prince's shirt coming untucked, don't worry about it. He's got about 3 more feet of material tucked into his pants. The longest uniform shirts I've ever seen.
That one did hit him to load him up.
entire at bat, Sean just couldn't get that curveball out toward the outer part of the plate. Left them all inside. The last one catching fielder on the back of that right arm.
Here's a guy, I think you put it this way, always kind of lying in the weeds, Casey McGee, who has a 2-run homer on his scorecard today. Bases loaded. This is a big spot. We're in the 6th and a 4-4 tie. Cubs want a double play chance. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back singles by Edmonds and Braun, and then fielder was hit by a 3-2 pitch to load him up.
We mentioned it earlier in the inning, Len. No pinch hitter for Jim Edmonds against the left-handed throwing Sean Marshall. However, with Jody Garrett in that on-deck circle, depending on what happens this at bat, you might see Corey Hart or Carlos Gomez to come up and pinch hit for Jody Garrett.
A strike to make it 1-2, and I do think Ken Maka would make that exchange because of how good Sean Marshall has been, especially that lefty versus lefty matchup. You might have to face Jeff Samardzija, but we'll see.
Well, those are things a manager has to weigh. Which matchup do I like better? The left-handed hitting Jody Garrett against the left-handed breaking ball pitcher Sean Marshall, or do I like my right-handed hitters against Jeff Samardzija?
Milwaukee trying to take what would be their 3rd lead of the day. And they're going to get it. Bird chasing after it. Makes a running catch. Edmonds and Braun tag. Edmonds scores to make it 5-4. So 2 go-ahead RBIs for McGee. 3 overall on the afternoon. It's 5-4 Brewers.
We saw that defensive swing producing a base hit for Jim Edmonds. Same thing here for Casey McGee, producing a sac fly to center field. Didn't try to overpower that ball, just kind of guided it out to the outfield. Got it deep enough for the run to score and for Braun to advance on to third base.
Corey Hart will hit for Garrett. Lou peruses the matchup book. First and third. Ball 1.
It's probably a little bit too early in the ballgame to think about playing defense with a 1-run lead, but Corey Hart does give the Brewers a better defender in right field than Jody Garrett.
Off the end of the bat, and Marshall's just going to tag Hart to complete the inning. They get a run on a sac fly by McGee to make it 5-4 for the visitors. gets his first Wrigley Field start with the Cubs as they host the Astros. Coverage starts at 12:30 with Chevy Cubs pregame live. Cubs hosting the Stros tomorrow at 12:30. On your home for more Cubs games than any other network. Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Corey Hart is playing right. And a swing and a miss by Ramirez. Chris Narveson is pitching for the Brewers. If Suppan would qualify for the win. Well, we have a long way to go. We're only in the bottom of the sixth. Narveson working quickly. As Hart will give it a look, but it's a souvenir.
And you may see the pace of the game pick up a little bit from this point on. With a couple of veteran pitchers starting this ball game, they have a very clear idea in their mind of what they want to throw, and sometimes they've got to shake off their catcher several times to get to the pitch they want to throw. Narveson, a young pitcher, likely to just throw whatever Greg Zahn calls for.
High fly, well hit. Braun back on the warning track. Running out of room. It's gone. We're tied again at 5-5. Third homer for the powerful Cubs offense today. They continue to hit them out of the park. 15 home runs for the Cubs.
Breaking ball that came back to the middle part of the plate and down right where Ramirez likes it. He went down and golfed it high in the air to left field. To hold my breath for a moment, you saw Ryan Braun put his glove up as if he was going to make a catch right at the base of the wall, but that ball easily cleared the fence.
Colvin got jammed, broke his bat, and is thrown out by a step as he hustled all the way down the line. Bird tied it with a 2-run shot in the fourth.
I think that home run by Ramirez proves very graphically that this is the kind of day at Wrigley when stuff isn't the most important thing for a pitcher. The ability to spot your pitches where you want is going to serve you much better on a day like today than just having overpowering stuff. Suppan just did not give Ramirez anything from the middle of the plate in where he could get a bat on it. He struck out twice against the veteran right-hander. Narveson made a mistake with a breaking ball in the middle, and he hit it out of the ballpark.
Rocketed past McGee, and Bird's trying for two. Oh, he's in by a mile. A hustle double for Marlon Byrd. So the go-ahead run is in scoring position as Jeff Baker is going to hit for Mike Fontenot.
A good call in, a hustle double. Doesn't wait, gets out of that batter's box quickly when Braun is forced to move several steps over to his right. Marlon Byrd does not hesitate, turns that corner sharply at first base and easily slides in with a double.
Jeff has been the Cubs' best pinch hitter, a game-winning home run in the pinch, and 2 for 2 in this spot.
Brief timeout as the ball got loose from the Cubs bullpen down the left field line. Jeff Baker, much like Ramirez, a real good low ball hitter. We saw him golf a ball out of Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati as a pinch hitter. Pitcher was down below the knees and out over the plate.
Got under it. Braun actually went back, and Jim Edmonds is going to come all the way over from the center field position to make the catch.
There's another old saying in baseball, let the sure man have it. Jim Edmonds with a room full of gold gloves at home. Ryan Braun probably will never win a gold glove. He'll get his share of batting titles. Maybe among the home run leaders in the league, I'm sure, at some point in his future, but Jim Edmonds is a guy that's got the glove.
The Cubs are very encouraged by what Gio has done at the plate in this series. Last 2 days, he has looked like the 2008 Rookie of the Year version.
Just a lot more still in that batter's box, and letting the pitch come to him rather than attacking the ball out in front of home plate, getting his weight all off balance. It's what hitting coaches call trusting your hands. You know that you're quick enough to let that ball get a lot deeper into the hitting zone than you have been. Sometimes when you struggle, you feel like you have to go out after the baseball. Physics will tell you it's going to get to you. Just let it travel and be quick with your hands. And that will cause you to stop swinging at bad pitches and square up the good pitches.
Squirts away from Zahn, but he jumped on it. Keep Bird at second.
Talk about it all the time, Len. There's two parts to this: block and recover. Does a nice job of blocking the ball, then gets to it quickly to hold Marlon Byrd at second base.
Sean Marshall-like curveball for strike two. Soriano on deck for Sean Marshall. Gave up his first run of the season. Cleveland beat Texas in a tidy 203, 3-2 the final there. Minnesota shut out Boston 8-0. Liriano over Wakefield. The 3-2 to Soto will do it again. Nationals and Phillies are 1-1 in the bottom of the fifth. It's 5-0 Mets over the Rockies in the top of the fifth. Again, Houston getting its first win of the year, 5-1 over St. Louis. Greg Zahn was ready to walk off the field thinking it was going to be a called third, but instead ball 4. So Soto's been on all 3 times.
Yeah, Zahn trying to influence home plate umpire Angel Campos. Watch after he receives this ball 4 pitch. It was close to the inside corner. Soto using his body language and Zahn using his to try to buy a call from the home plate umpire. That time Soto a little more convincing.
So Soriano coming up with 2 on, 2 out in a 5-5 tie. Oh and 1. Three for 7 with a double and 2 runs in the set. Second time this year he has not started.
The Brewers stick with the pattern. Soriano's going to see a lot of breaking pitches down low in the dirt. He's going to see some fastballs elevated up above the letters. It's a perfect situation today for Soriano not in the starting lineup. I'm sure Lou was hoping for an opportunity to use him as a pinch hitter with some runners on base and a chance to do some big damage.
The kick and the 1-1 pitch outside. Ramirez started the inning with his 3rd homer of the year to tie it. 2 batters later, Bird doubled. And then 2 batters after that, Soto walked. Good eye, 3-1.
Dangerous pitch here for Narveson. Needs to throw a strike. It should be a quality strike, otherwise Soriano could hurt him badly here.
Ball 4, they're loaded. Back-to-back walks.
Well, I take that as an encouraging at bat by Alfonso Soriano, not in the starting lineup. Knew he's only going to get 1 opportunity, 1 at bat, but he didn't go out of his zone. Forced Narveson to throw him a strike, and when he did not, he took the base on balls to set it up for Ryan Theriot.
Here comes the pitching coach, Rick Peterson. We are working with Bloomberg Sports to provide some of the most in-depth and compelling data analysis baseball has ever seen. Fans can get their own set of these new state-of-the-art tools from Bloomberg, built for fun and for fantasy play. Go to BloombergSports.com to get a preview and find out all the details. Cubs have him loaded for Ryan Theriot, 2 outs in a tie game. Here we go. Narveson off the mound, bare hand on the pickup and the flip to fielder to end the inning. Ramirez led off the inning, however, with a game-tying home run. Jeff Samardzija against switch hitting Greg Zahn. 5-5. We're in the 7th. Cubs legend Ron Santo will conduct the 7th inning stretch after this half inning. Two outings a week apart. A lot better second time around.
Jeff Becker stays in to play second base for pinch hitting for Mike Fontenot.
3-0 on Zahn. He's had a big day at the plate. 2 singles and a double. Swings away on a 3-0, and Marlon Byrd able to locate the ball, make the catch.
Probably swung a ball 4 right there. It appeared that pitch was going to be up out of the strike zone. Does Samardzija and the Cubs a huge favor getting a big first out of the inning here. You be the umpire. Yep. I gotta believe that's ball 4.
Ball 1 to Escobar. And we're kind of guessing here. Everybody having the same number, but I think it's Joe Inglet who will be coming up as Escobar pops out to Terrio. 2 quick ones. Inglet had a pinch hit triple on Monday. Samardzija has gotten behind all 3 hitters. 1-0 on Inglet.
How about this? Joe Inglet was a college teammate at the University of Nevada, Reno, with Lyle Overbay, Ryan Church, and Chad Qualls. That's a pretty good nucleus of a ball club there for the Wolfpack.
His major league debut came against the Cubs with the Cleveland Indians. Came in for defense, did not get an at bat on June 21st of 2006. Three and 1. Ball 4, bringing up Weeks. Ron Santo anxiously awaiting the 7th inning stretch. Ron, Bob will help you with the harmonies here if you need the help. I don't think you do, though.
Well, you're on your own,
He's
Chief.
a veteran.
Yeah, you're much better than any of us.
I would venture to say Ron has conducted the stretch more than anybody since Harry. Samardzija got the first 2 guys. He walked Inglet. Well, if he can just get Weeks, he'll get out of the inning. But he has not thrown enough strikes here. Hopefully that'll change with the first one to Weeks. Ball 1.
And that's a common problem with Samardzija throughout the spring and the early part of the season. Getting underneath his pitches, leaving them up high. Really needs to take advantage of that long frame and those long arms, get on top of the ball and drive it down toward the bottom of the zone where he gets much better movement on that sinking, tailing fastball.
Slider for a strike, 1-1.
And sometimes that's one thing a catcher can do to help get a pitcher back into a strike zone. In order to throw a good slider, you really have to finish out in front. You can't afford to get underneath that pitch, and that time Samardzija dropped that slider right on the outside corner. Hopefully that'll benefit him the next time he throws a fastball.
The starter Zambrano today really did gut his way through 5 innings, 121 pitches, 7 strikeouts. He allowed 4 runs, 3 were earned. Jeff Suppan also went 5. England runs, swing and a miss, throw to second, late. England almost came off the bag after he popped up. And that's why Baker kept the tag on him, but he stayed there and is in scoring position for Milwaukee.
Pretty good release and throw from Giovanni Soto. That base was stolen on Jeff Samardzija. Just a little too slow in his delivery to home plate. England is not a big-time stolen base guy. The highest he's ever had in his career in the minor leagues was 13. As a big leaguer, he's never had more than 9 in a full season.
Kick in the 2-2 out into left center. This is trouble. It gets down and the Brewers lead again. For the 4th time today, it's 6-5. Ricky Weeks comes through. Good effort by Marlon Byrd. Came up just a little short. There's that walk, and the stolen base is essentially manufacture the go-ahead run.
Well, we've seen Marlon Byrd twice now in 2 days lay out in an effort to catch what really is an uncatchable ball. You got to love the effort, but he knew Tyler Colvin was there to back up the play and gave it a shot.
Ball 1 to Edmonds.
Boy, this is dangerous here. Samardzija continues to miss up in the strike zone, and we know Jim Edmonds is a good high ball hitter. Get the ball down.
Jeff has faced 5 hitters this inning and has missed with the first one all 5 times. He's now 2-0 on Edmonds, who will wait him out. Rarely swings at a bad pitch when he's ahead in the count. Three and 0. You can't just throw him a cookie here. Everybody's been ready to come out of their shoes on 3-0 counts. Marlon Byrd hit a home run on a 3-0. And Edmonds goes after it. Full count, 3-2.
There was a time in Jim Edmonds' career that he would not have missed those last 2 pitches. Fastballs up, out over the plate, belt high, inside of the outside corner.
Got him, called strike 3. Here comes Ron Santo.
Santo. Hey, you wonderful Cub fans! Let me hear ya! On one, on two, on three. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jam. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root for the hobby. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3, at the old ball game. Let's get some runs. We'll get them back.
Carlos Villanueva is on. Milwaukee leading in a wild one, 6-5. We kind of thought it would be this way with the wind blowing straight out today. We stole Ron Santo from Pat Hughes here for just a couple of minutes. We know you have work to do, but I want everybody to see this beautiful mug on TV. How you doing, Ron?
Thank you very much. I'm doing great. Of course, I'm always feeling better when the Cubs win, and being back home here with 2 wins in a row, and hopefully today we can come back and win this ball game.
Kosuke turns on it and hits it foul. Give us your take on the conditions weather-wise from a hitter standpoint. We've seen a lot of guys swinging at 3-0 pitches.
Very well. I'll be honest with you. I cannot believe that there's so many hitters in this game that you see 3-2, and I'm just not talking about the Cubbies, but other, or 3-1 or 2-0 that don't swing at that pitch. I don't understand, but this weather is the best that I can remember in the middle of April. And to come out of Arizona, go to Atlanta, and then to Cincinnati, have this kind of weather, you just can't beat it. Actually, usually at this time of the year, pitching is ahead of the hitting, but it's a little different. We've been struggling a little bit, but we're starting to swing those bats.
2-1 on Fukudome. And that's foul and out of play to the left.
Ron, I got to say that I would believe that some of your former teammates, the pitchers, would probably say that this weather isn't so good.
That's exactly right.
Tough day to pitch when the wind is howling out the way it is today.
Boy, you got to be perfect. And that's one thing I could say about one guy, Fergie Jenkins. It didn't matter. He had a game plan. When he went out there, whether the wind's blowing out or blowing in, he stayed with that plan. He gave up a lot of solo home runs, but not the 2 and the 3 home runs.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Before we let you go, Ronnie, Derek Lee coming up, and we start to hear now as he hit his 100th home run at Wrigley. Aramis is a couple home runs away. You're on that list. It starts to remind people of Ernie Banks and Ron Santo, longtime Cubs in the corners of the infield, and I know you love watching these two guys hit.
Oh, I absolutely do. I mean, when you look at it, you know, right now Ramirez is off to a slow start, but we've seen him. Last year, I think he was 1 for 27, and then he came on like gangbusters, missed half the season. Lee had a tremendous year. I think when he broke his wrist, that was the big problem the following year, and he is back. And to me, Ramirez is an RBI machine.
Look at that win.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's jumping out of here. I know when I was a player, and you know, when I first started, I was very young, and I wasn't thinking about home runs, just thinking about making contact, line drives. I hit 11 home runs only in the minor leagues for 1 year, and when the wind started blowing out, I started thinking about it. And believe me, I popped more balls up than I did hit any out. And you just got to really put your mind to it. Think line drive, and that ball's going to go.
Talking to Billy yesterday, we used the line on the air. Hit it low, watch it go. Hit it high, watch it die. And that's, you know, with the wind blowing in, but.
Right. But today, I mean, I don't know what it is with 2-0 counts. You got to look fastball to me. And if you know, you got to stay back to hit the fastball and adjust to the curveball. So, you know, I don't know what you're looking for, because when they don't swing a bat and it's right down the middle, that's something.
Derek did not like that call and rarely argues, and he has been tossed from this game. He's telling Angel Campos, you haven't called that all day, and he has been thrown out of the ball game.
Wow.
I think this is frustration from an afternoon of hearing it from both dugouts for Angel Campos. That pitch felt high, maybe off the inside corner a little bit, but as you said, Lynn, that pitch has not been called a strike all day long. Derek Lee wants to know why it's a strike now.
Boy, I've never seen Derek. I don't remember him being thrown out of a ball game.
Only one I remember was the fight against Chris Young.
Oh, yeah.
Not with an umpire, right. You're right. You're right, Ron.
And he couldn't have said much.
Well, technically, you are not allowed to argue balls and strikes, but you know, a guy like Derek Lee, you would think would get a little leeway, but not in that case. Let's hope that doesn't come back to haunt the Cubs. We'll probably see Nady come in and play first, as Ramirez bats here with 2 outs.
What you're saying is a manager can't argue balls and strikes, but a player can talk about it. I mean,
sure, he should be able to.
And as long as you know, when I played, and I think when you played, you know the umpires that are very touchy, and if you're looking to center field and saying a few words, they don't mind it. But as soon as you turn on them, then you're showing them up, and they'll throw you out.
Do you remember how many times you got the thumb?
No, I can't.
Is it too many to count? Or you just can't remember?
Well, first of all, I didn't get thrown out a lot. I got thrown out, I'd say a few times.
You ever been thrown out of a broadcast booth?
I'm about ready to jump out.
Whatever you have to go. I mean, it's really all about, Pat is giving us some obscene gestures over here.
Yeah, I can see that. And I'm ready to go. I just want to see this ball go out of the ball.
We'll watch Ramirez bat. You're always welcome to pop in. If you and Pat have a little problem and you just want to get away for an inning, just come on over and rejoin your former partner, Bob Brenly. And I love you.
Well, I started with Bob. He saved my life in the booth. I was so embarrassed. It was ridiculous. And he's the big reason I'm here, him and Tom Petterman.
3-1. As Ramirez asks for time.
I'm just surprised, Ron. I know how you like to keep the meticulous scorecard, and you didn't bring it over here with you.
No. And that baby's destroyed at the end of the game at all times.
Get me over curve, 3-2. Every strike call now being booed by the audience. Ball 4. Ron, thanks so much.
Thanks, guys. Good luck.
Cubs legend Ron Santo. So Ramirez keeping the inning alive. Tyler Colvin's had a good day. 2 hits, 2 runs, and 3 trips.
Stay hot, young man. Been seeing the ball really good today. A little overly aggressive in his last at bat in the 6th inning after the Ramirez home run. He grounded weakly to second base, but he's been seeing the ball really well today.
Well, I'm sure we can find it, but I am curious to find out how many times Derek Lee has been ejected for arguing with an umpire.
Knowing Ronnie the way we do and the competitor that he is, even as an announcer, I gotta believe he got triggered a few times.
Yeah, I would guess. Blocked by Zahn to keep the tying run out of scoring position.
Both catchers doing a fine job today, keeping those balls in the dirt in front, keeping runners from advancing. Zahn with yet another block of a breaking ball in the dirt.
Swing and a miss to end the inning. Villanueva punches out 3 in the 7th. The Cubs lead 1. They trail 6-5. Of Chicago Tribune Live here on Comcast Sportsnet. David Kaplan, Tribune writers, sports stars, and celebrities discuss the day's hottest sports topics. Don't miss Chicago Tribune Live tonight at 5:30 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Chad Tracy will play first after Derek Lee was ejected for arguing with Angel Campos in the bottom of the 7th.
You look at the relievers that the Brewers usually use late in a ball game with a lead, and it's a string of right-handed pitchers, so Lou Piniella electing to go with Chad Tracy.
Ryan Braun, deep left, gone. Back of the bleachers as he connects, and again Samardzija missed with the first pitch, and Ryan Braun made him pay on the second. It's now 7-5.
Right down Main Street for Ryan Braun, just above the knees. Pretty good low ball hitter. Golfed that one over the bleachers, over the fence, over everything in left field.
Nobody in the Brewer pen, which tells you Villanueva is going to come back at this point in the bottom of the 8th. We have not seen Trevor Hoffman in the series, so that's a very good bet in the 9th. A 1-0 to Prince Fielder. 2-0. Ground ball to short, but it's manned by Ramirez with the shift, so it goes 5-3.
Hey, Cub fans, don't miss your chance to be part of the brand new PNC Club of Chicago. The newly built club, located down the third base line, offers high-end catering, a full-service top-shelf bar, indoor and outdoor seating, and other benefits that allow for a truly all-inclusive game day experience. Membership also includes parking for every home game. To reserve your season tickets in the PNC Club of Chicago, call 773-404-4200.
He has knocked in 3. It's Justin Berg along with the bullpen coach Lester Strode, who looks on. Three and nothing on McGee.
Always easier said than done, but make some kind of an adjustment. Consistently missing up, 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 falling behind all 8 hitters he's faced.
Corey Hart with his second at bat. A pinch hit for Jody Garrett in the 6th and remained in right.
A day like this at Wrigley, you're just playing with fire, falling behind all these hitters.
Popped up. Soto gives it a look. And he's going to have room. Backpedaling makes a catch. 2 down.
Those pop up behind home plate are always going to work their way back toward the field just because of the rotation on the ball as it goes up. But you compound it with that wind today. Gio has to backpedal a little bit, reach high over his head, but able to make the play for out number 2.
Zahn has singled twice, doubled once, and then flied out on a 3-0 pitch in the 7th. So Samardzija facing him for the second time in as many innings. Bird in, calling everybody off. That's it. Leadoff homer by Braun gives the Brewers a 2-run lead to the bottom of the 8th. Luke, thank you. Carlos Villanueva still on. Milwaukee leading by a pair, 7-5. Here's Marlon Byrd to start the Cubs' 8th. Taps it foul. Kick and the 0-1 pitch. Outside, Bird with a long 2-run homer on a 3-0 pitch in the 4th.
If you weren't here earlier, you hit it about halfway to the lake, as you called it out there, where Sammy used to hit him. Straight away center field, well above the batter's eye.
Coffee up in case for the Brewers. I was thinking Dave Niehaus, Hall of Fame broadcaster for the Mariners, to use his home run call. He probably would say, "Fly away, Marlon Byrd." Swing and a miss. Strike 3. We'll be in Seattle this year. Be my first trip ever to Safeco Field. I can't wait.
Seattle's all about the weather that you catch when you go there. I've been very fortunate over the years. Every time I've been there, it's been sunny and clear, beautiful baseball weather, great city to visit in the Pacific Northwest.
That is our trip, our 2-city trip to Seattle, and while we're in the Northwest, make a stop on the south side of Chicago.
Same neighborhood.
I mean, you wouldn't want to play in San Francisco or Colorado or anything on the way back. I saw a note recently, the Angels will fly the most miles of any team in baseball, over 50,000. I think the White Sox will fly the fewest. The Cubs have to be right near the bottom.
The teams in the Central Divisions obviously geographically have a much easier schedule as far as road travel. Those teams on the West Coast, you're always losing time.
I mean, we were both probably at our homes in Chicago before the Brewers even started their Sunday night game against the Cardinals. Baker grounds out, 2 away.
Hey, Cub fans, this season it's easier than ever to find the seats you want or sell the tickets to the games you can't make on StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Chicago Cubs. You'll find great seats and great service on StubHub all season, so go to StubHub.com and choose your seats today.
Soto trying to keep the 8th alive for Xavier Nady, who's now on deck. There's a reason this game is just about at the 3-hour mark here in the 8th inning. It's had a very slow feel to it. I think every pitcher's thought long and hard about every pitch he's had to throw because of the wind.
Which is what pitchers should do all the time, but especially on a day like this where a mistake can end up out on the street. They're going to take a little bit longer between pitches, think about the sequence that they want to throw to an opposing hitter, especially the guys that can hit it out of here.
A lot of runners on base.
Well, that strike zone the size of a postage stamp.
Small strike zone, you're right. High chopper. Escobar gets it. 2 scoreless innings and big ones by Villanueva. We'll go to the ninth, 7-5 Milwaukee. TV today to see every Cubs game live or on demand on your computer. Visit Cubs.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. Veteran lefty John Graybo facing Alcides Escobar. Strike one. John works from the stretch all the time. As Ramirez was playing in, got a glove on it. Then the ball popped up, and Escobar reaches.
Ramirez has had a couple of hot shots to handle down there today. Fields it off to the side, got a glove on it, popped it straight up in the air. That's going to be ruled a base hit.
Gomez, who's been bunt happy the last 2 days, he's batting in the pitcher's spot. Bunt's foul. Carlos Gomez.
He's either bunted or shown bunt just about every at bat we've seen him in this series.
Trevor Hoffman off to a very slow start. He's blown 2 save chances. And he'll get the ball in the bottom of the ninth. All-time saves leader. Another bunt. Graybo knocks it down. Everybody's safe. The Brewers have not hit a ball out of the infield, and they have 2 on. A sacrifice and the Cubs' 3rd error of the day.
Earlier in the ballgame, I talked about that area of the glove down near the heel. And that's where this bunt from Gomez hits John Graybo, bounces closer to the first baseline, and with Gomez's speed, he's going to leg that one out easily.
But closers have a very specific routine, and I'm noticing Trevor Hoffman just standing and watching. And it might be because there's no outs. And he's got a very specific timing to get ready. He is in no hurry to start throwing. I suppose they can hit into a triple play.
Could catch him a little unawares. He's going to do a triple play right here and have to come into the ball game without throwing a warm-up pitch.
I don't think, unless you could correct me, that he has thrown a pitch off the mound. Played a little catch.
I haven't seen him up on the mound, and even guys that like to start throwing with one out in the inning sometimes will stand there and play catch.
More trouble. Graybo's throw just in time. Now Hoffman starts playing catch from behind the mound. Actually, he's on the field of play at the moment.
A little topper down that third baseline. Looked like it was going to be trouble. Graybo gets off the mound in good shape, fields this one cleanly, and makes a strong throw onto Chad Tracy for the out at first.
Okay, now he's in foul ground, back up on the mound.
Men on the field.
The infield is in with Jim Edmonds at the dish. Escobar at third. Gomez at second, and Edmonds held. Ted Barrett the call from third.
More of an effort to get out of the way of that pitch that was up and inside by Jim Edmonds. Clearly held back.
Campos' strike zone's getting a little bigger here late. Jim Edmonds asking him about it. Eric Lee must have said some sort of magic word, or the word that Campos doesn't want to hear, to get himself tossed in the seventh. Terrio throws to the plate. In time, they got him, and here comes Ken Maka. Boy, the Brewer dugout is livid. They get Escobar at the plate for the second out.
Now we'll have the benefit of a replay here, but with the naked eye, it did appear that Escobar got through the block of Giovanni Soto before the tag was applied. A lot of times on those bang-bang collision plays at the plate, really the only determining factor is, does the catcher hang on to the ball? Campos waits to see that Giovanni Soto did indeed have the baseball before ringing up Escobar. Second time in 2 ball games we've seen a 6-2 putout at home plate. Last time was Prince Fielder. Now really the only question was, did he get his foot on the plate? He got that left foot through the shin guards of Soto, but not sure if he got on the plate before the tag was applied.
Well, that might loom large. In the bottom of the ninth, inning still not over. Good changeup from Graybo. Swing and a miss by Braun. He's had a big day. He's only made 1 out. Looks like he's playing in an all-star game with those shoes.
Yeah, white shoes.
Gomez will steal third without a throw.
I don't understand what the difference is between that play and defensive indifference when a runner runs from first to second. Nobody covered the bag. There was no throw made.
Totally agree. That glances off the glove of Graybo. Terrio throws to first. Safe. And Braun will pick up an RBI as a result. They have 2 hits, and then you had the error on Graybo. 3 balls that never got out of the infield, but the batter reached.
Ball was deflected ever so slightly off the glove of John Graybo, forcing Terrio to change his direction. Couldn't get as much on the throw as he might have. Good hustle by Ryan Braun. He could smell that RBI. He knows if he beats that throw to first base, the Brewers are going to get another run, and it appeared he was just in ahead of the throw.
Now it's 8-5. And here's the pitch to Fielder. That hit him. And again, Fielder just got to say, no, it didn't hit me. He just told Angel Campos it didn't hit him, but it clearly got him in the right sleeve, which is the longest sleeve in baseball.
You know, there's going to be a point this season where some manager is going to argue after a hit by pitch. I mean, that uniform, he's a big man. I'm not taking anything away from him. You know, he's trying to be comfortable. He's trying to wear a uniform that fits and that he feels he can play the game with. But, man, there's enough material on that shirt to make 2 more uniform tops.
I think it actually got the elbow guard. Watch how the guard is hanging down. I think that's what it hit, Bob. It kind of hangs off his triceps area. And I think that's what it hit. It's not really strapped in. You know why most people don't argue it? Because sending him to first after a hit by pitch is sometimes better than the alternative. So Fielder has been hit twice today. Swing and a miss. The bullpen of Marshall, Samardzija, and Graybo today, they've all given up at least 1. Now the run that scored here in the 9th, the guy got on originally because of an error on Graybo. That continues to be an issue for this Cubs pitching staff. To short, and the throw from Terrio to Baker is in time to get Fielder. They add 1 to their lead. It still is a safe spot for Hoffman. 8-5. Producer Doug Stanton, Christine Charbonneau, our stage manager. Our remote technical manager is Mark Harper, the senior executive producer of Comcast Sportsnet, Jim Corno Jr. Wonderful work, as always, by our home crew. And the Cubs try to get it done against the all-time saves leader, who's blown a couple. Real tough time with the Cardinals. His last 4 blown saves have been versus St. Louis. Starts Xavier Nady with strike 1.
And that was a fastball from Trevor Hoffman. His heater sits in the mid to upper 80s. Occasionally will touch 90 on a good day. His bread and butter pitch throughout his career has been that straight changeup.
Former Padre teammates as Nady hits it foul.
Hoffman will also throw an occasional curveball, especially a get-ahead pitch to a left-handed hitter, but usually you're going to see a combination of fastballs and changeups.
I'm curious to know, and it's not listed in their notes, the last time, or if Hoffman has ever blown 3 consecutive save chances. Swing and a miss. So 1 out.
That's the Bugs Bunny changeup. Bottom just falls out of it. His arm motion is exactly the same as his fastball. He throws it out of the same slot as his fastball. Very tough to identify.
Looking for his 594th career save. He got the win, believe it or not, Sunday night because Casey McGee hit the homer in the bottom of the ninth. Hoffman is 42 years old, 6 feet 221. His age really isn't that much of a factor. He works as hard on his fitness as anybody in the game today. Bunted, and it's foul.
Well, there are stories from his days in San Diego when a young pitcher would get called up from AAA to the major leagues with the Padres. He would always tell him the first day, "You follow Trevor today, you do his workout." And invariably, after the young man grew up and took a shower, he learned a very valuable lesson about how hard you have to work to reach the level that Trevor Hoffman has in the major leagues. I remember seeing him leave Qualcomm Stadium, or in the day it was called Jack Murphy Stadium, going out one of the runways, and he would run up and down the hills around the ballpark there in San Diego, come back a couple of hours later, and then finish his workout. Be able to make an argument that Trevor Hoffman is coming to 2 very distinctive stops out there on the mound. He always pitches out of the stretch position. After he gets his sign from his catcher, he'll place his hand into the glove, and it appears to be a complete stop right there, and then he goes on and goes into the set position.
We have our answer. Doug Stanton took a look and found out he has never blown 3 consecutive save chances. So this would be a first if the Cubs can rally. If they're down 3. I mean, you just look at how consistent he's been. 1998, he had 54 chances, 53 saves. For the most part, every year you can count on 3 or 4 blown saves. That's it. Last year, 37 out of 41. You're looking at about 9 out of every 10. We'll take that every year. Hart battling the sun. Now not able to find it at all. Drops behind him, and Terrio is on with a double.
It looked like Hart never had a beat on that baseball. He just stood motionless out there in right field with his glove and his hand up in the air trying to find the ball, and with that wind blowing out, it scoots over his head. Theriot scoots into second base with a double.
We'll hit about 5 more of those. But do it fast before the sun changes. Ground ball foul.
We've seen some great late inning heroics from the Cubs already on this homestand. Can they do it one more time?
Hoffman's 1.83 last year, the second best ERA of his career. And back with the Brewers for a second season. Only gave up 11 runs all of last year. He's already allowed 6 in a week and a half.
The second best ERA last season at 183. The best ERA was back in the 98 season with the San Diego Padres, a 148 ERA, 53 saves that season, was the National League Roll Age Relief Man of the Year in 98.
12 runs allowed in 66 games. That's foul. Popped him up, and I don't think Fielder knew what it was. He was Zahn, and he couldn't get it over near the dugout. Fielder just put his hands up in front of his face. Zahn went after it.
Now, those guys on the right side are having a lot of visibility problems right now as the sun fades away in the west, looking right back up into it. You can tell by the shadows on the field. Weeks, Fielder, and Hart looking right into the sun.
Because if Fukudome gets on, Chad Tracy will come up as a tying run.
The only player Lou Piniella has available off the bench at this point, backup catcher Coy Hill. Coy Hill's hoping he gets into this ball game, because that would mean the Cubs have come back and tied it up in some way, shape, or form.
Fielder scoops and will take it by himself. Well, the record is always deceiving for a closer because he always comes in with a lead. Hard for him to win games, but when he blows a save, it's more likely he'll lose. He is 60 and 69 in his career. So it's up to Chad Tracy. know it's a little thing, but Greg Zahn blocked that pitch as if Ryan Theriot were the winning run. His run really doesn't matter. It does matter on Trevor Hoffman's record, however.
And it does matter in future outings for Trevor Hoffman with Zahn behind the plate. Develop that confidence. A pitcher has the confidence of throwing a pitch down below the knees. If it ends up in the dirt, you know your catcher's going to do everything he can to block it.
Tracy is 0 for 5 with a walk as a Cub. Down to the final couple of days of spring training when he found out he had made the team. Nice one-handed grab by that fan. Giving it to a kid.
I love that.
4-star play.
One-handed snag.
Let's see if they can find this one. Hart coming in. Can't get it. And Tracy ends up at second. A bloop double for Tracy. And now the tying run comes up, and it's a Ramirez.
That had trouble written all over it off the bat. High fly ball into shallow right field. Weeks was struggling to find it. Corey Hart had a long way to run, playing extremely deep out there in right field. It drops between them. Cubs still have life.
Lob wedge double for Tracy. Well, if Ramirez gets a hanger, the wind is still blowing straight out. A little more out toward right center. Here we go. Fastball, outer corner.
It's turned ever so slightly, more blowing out toward right center now, but that ball up in the air with something on it. A chance to tie this one up.
You could make a case that Trevor Hoffman is trying to get 5 outs this inning. The 2 balls that have dropped both should have been caught, but got lost in the sun.
Ramirez back in the 6th inning against left-hander Chris Narveson. Got a breaking ball over the heart of the plate. Gulped it out of here to left field.
Deep drive for Ramirez. Edmonds going after it. And he will get to it right in the middle of the track to end the game. He gave it a ride, just not enough. And Trevor Hoffman hangs on. So the final score today, Milwaukee 8 and the Cubs 6, as Hoffman scratches out his 594th career save. And today's GMC player of the game, Ryan Braun, had 4 hits and 3 RBIs.
Relatively quiet through the first 2 games of the series, but he's such a good hitter. He's going to get his. And 4 for 5 today with a home run, 3 RBI, did a lot of damage.
So that knocks the Cubs back a game under 500. Both teams are 4-5 as the Cubs will welcome in the Astros tomorrow, and Milwaukee will head to D.C.